You are live. You better fucking believe it, infidels. Here, live at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. And for the first time, hopefully, we'll see live at youtube.com/bin Hameen, infidels. That's right. We're upgrading or we're side grading to StreamYard because we're Team Roadcaster Pro here at Hameen Media Group, HameenMediaGroup.podbean.com, HackerHameen.podbean.com for all the free content you can handle, from conspiracy theory, wrestling news and rumors, updates in UFC. We've got it all, infidels. There's only one place to keep it locked, and it's right here. It's your Friday locker room, Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Transmission, early Thursday morning veteran edition. Mouthful of marbles, Stevie. It's time to go. Y'all. I think I got that alliteration out pretty well. I was doing modern Major General. I am the very model of a modern Major General earlier this morning to warm up the lips with the Broasters coffee, thebroasters.com. But look at the sexy 5 o'clock shadow. It's back, you guys, live for YouTube.
If you want some bad recital of verbiage, look at my shotgun mic video coming out soon. When I don't have the headphones on, and I think I have to like the Russo thing, I think I have to reach up and hit the microphone. It's a sickness. But thank you very much. I never thought, I never had a beard up until my wife. Well, I had the goatee and the mustache Billy back in ECW, which took about 18 months to grow. Mm-hmm. But I never thought I would like, facial hair as far as having a beard or anything. But then when I accidentally went to number 2 on the body, on the trimmer, I was like, oh my God, this hides so many, you got scars and other things and everything. It hides so much, and it actually looks weird without it. I can't imagine. I see old pictures of you. Dude,
I am a completely different, if we ever got to go on the run, they'd be like, where is he? I could be standing.
Well, somebody did shave their facial hair to try to go on the run, right? 2 people.
Yeah, we'll talk about them for sure, man. But yeah, this is about 2 weeks worth of growth for me. So I've been at it, feeding it everything I can from CanYouHandleBar.com wisdom. A lot of guys been going over there at CanYouHandleBar, just saying what's up to those dudes. Very cool beardsmen. Go check out their website, CanYouHandleBar.com. They sent me probably about a year or two's worth of product. My favorite is the wisdom, the rub-in balms, and actually the beard shampoo. So I'm going to get her probably trimmed today if I can get out there to my guys at Next Level Barbershop and do their thing, man. But appreciate all of our sponsors here at HackerHameen.podbean.com. See some people are on YouTube for the first gimmick. That makes me pumped up. I see Buckshot Kid, Jay Hale, Miso, Andres, and Rat Salad Review. We're doing good this morning, you guys. You know where it is. It's the Friday Locker Room recording. But we've been switching to StreamYard for the Roadcaster Pro. And we're just being able to stream at 2 places to get the message out there, man. We had a real damn good time this week at russosbrand.com doing the Raw and SmackDown review, stretched it to 2 hours, and then shook him to the core on the Patreon there with more conspiracy horseman talk, what's going on. And then we had a damn good time on Master Shoot Theater, absolutely, with some meat on meat, pal. Yeah, you got to hear this one. You got to hear it, Stevie. Put your meat on.
I think we went over to 20 minutes. So anybody that thinks that even 20 minutes isn't a lot, we went maybe 25.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really in an improv like Harold, where what I'm trained to do and conditioned to do, 28 minutes feels, if you can hit that and bring it home in the pocket. And I'll tell you, if we would have made that move to AEW and drawn 3 minutes out of there and then flash back to Vince, we would have been right there. And we just didn't make the move. But
I was literally.
Don't apologize at all. If a move isn't made, it wasn't meant to be made. If I put it there and I whiff, I'm going to do the same thing. I've done it 100 times and I know, but I'm just letting you know right now, get in the mindset of if it wasn't there, then it wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. I had a fork in the road in my mind. By the way, A. Anderson, thank you for the cheers. You can also do super chats in YouTube now that Ben has now been let back into existence by Google. Well, here's the 2 things, just to give everybody an idea, a little free preview of what I was thinking, because we are all together in this. We froze for half a second, but the second you said AEW, The only thing I went to was you wanted number one, the Tony Khan impression, which I did my tweaky Adderall eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to bring Johnny Ace into it because he's always an easy, just out of nowhere. Like he's like the RKO of like Master Shoot Theater, where he'll just come out of nowhere. And what I wanted to do was do the famous Johnny Ace developmental speech, which you've heard in OVW about, hey guys, I mean, everybody here has a job for life. All you got to do is just, you know what I mean? And like, and then start cutting people during the press conference. Like, you know, and all that stuff. You know, like basically the phone rings. I would have the phone ringing. Him go, oh, hey, Ryback. Okay, yeah. I'll see you next Wednesday. Oh, Jungle Boy, you're gone. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, here's the move I would have made if you pimped out. Now we're talking out an improv scene, which isn't ever going to really happen because I'm not going to force that ever when we go back to it. But like, say we did make the move and you just went into Khan, and you wanted Ace. The move is, okay, I'm Khan tweaking, and I'm going to take a question now. You, the reporter with the skateboard in the audience, and you pimp me. That gives me the Iggy to be Ace, and now I could be Ace as an undercover reporter that Vince had sent in there to ask questions and scoot back and forth. All right, so
I didn't want you to take the one impression. I actually do half decent. I didn't. I mean, I was playing wrestler there and protecting my spot. The other way I was going to go was I was going to be Cody with the famous Las Vegas press conference by the pool where the kid, they zoomed in on the kid, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. I was like, did somebody say there's a revolution? And then you would be the kid going, every time he said it, hey, he's excited. Look at him.
I actually had a fucking slammer that I saw in my notes for the Russo brand Raw and SmackDown review. I'm going to save it to see if they do it again next week because me and my boys saw it while we were watching Raw, but I forgot to bring it on the Raw and SmackDown review. I'm not going to stooge it off here, but it could be a new fucking great catalyst for Master Shoot. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Every week is a great catalyst, right? All we got to do is step back, and it's the only reason to watch the shows anymore. Just to get, that's probably the only reason most of our people watch shows. By the way, but someone was asking me if I'm getting the Flight Simulator 2020. I actually have reserved that flight yoke. I'm thinking about getting it today and doing X-Plane 11, which is what I have on the. I have a Mac. So, but the new Xbox Series X will have Flight Simulator, so I might be switching over to that. I did a lot of flight sim stuff when I was in WWE. It was just relaxing to go on like a long flight and mess around and just kind of get lost in that kind of stuff.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, man. They probably wouldn't want me to have my laptop open sitting on a plane doing that shit.
Oh no. I meant when I got home, not on the plane.
Oh,
bring up that New York map.
He's practicing flight sims on the fucking plane. This guy, people would be shitting their pants, bro.
And then you just say to him, "Hey, it's okay. I'm not landing or taking off. I'm just, that's the flight school I'm going to."
I don't know anything about it. Oh shit! But I'm not sure. I see a lot of people on Twitch. Obviously, the signal flare went up there. I'm not sure how the YouTube works. I'm on.
I'll tell you how it works. They're probably not getting notifications. No. Like a lot of times, dude, you might be back and you might be monetized, but there's lots of people to tell me, even with the sterile stuff I put out there with Jim and tech stuff, we don't get notified when your video goes live. Go to
Ben Hameen YouTube and see what it looks like if things are going there, because we did have Miso Horny check in early right away, but I haven't really seen anybody else. I just wanted to do a little bench test, see what's going on.
Money Locker Room is live, 4 people watching.
All right. Well, I mean, 4 out of 11,000 subscribers. Not really the conversion rate I was hoping for, but we'll see. But thank you for watching YouTube. You're not, you don't need to adjust your monitors resolution. That is the one and only dancing Stevie Richards, and I am the guy nobody's ever heard of until I come to your town and slap your face for $5, and then everybody's talking about it. So Ben Hameen, and obviously not flight sim noob. I'd probably let him land a plane at this point if we were going down. The pilot had a heart attack or something. I'd be like, bro, just hop in there and do what you got to do. If we make her, we make her. If not, we tried our best. That's kind of how it is going through Raw and SmackDown every week at this point, dude. Oh shit!
But you wanted to talk about something you said you would bring up on air. Do you want to bring it up now or towards the end, or is it connected to a press release?
It is and it isn't. It's fine. I'm interested in. You saw, obviously, we talked the McAfee and Cole shoot angle a little bit, but then Triple H came back and was like, did that little interview. I don't know if you saw that in Hameen Media discussion group on Facebook with McAfee, and he fucking bangs on Rip. And like he said, you said it yourself. You went and bought yourself a ring. He's trying to make McAfee out to be the mark that he really is, but he's still a pro fucking athlete, best of the best. You bought a ring, and then you went and hired Rip Rogers because he needed some money, and like because everybody knows Rip's a hustler, yeah. And McAfee and all them pop like, oh, like totally unnecessary to bang on Ripper, right? Who's made the best WWE guys, Randy Orton to Mark Henry to John Cena, all these guys, like Dolph Ziggler, all your best workhorses and guys who get over with character are Rip Rogers guys 9 out of 10 times. Even though Disco is really a foundation of Killer Cross says he didn't get it till he spent a week or whatever with Rip, and Elias the same thing, had Rip as a secret teacher. Rip's got, and he's the ultimate old school kayfaber. So him to bang on Rip like that out of nowhere, okay, you might be surrounded, and now you want to do a work shoot, and you're putting out the audience. The day before he dropped that, I just called Rip to say I love you, and call back from Master Shoot. None of this had happened yet, and I was like, hey Rip, you want to be on the Monday locker room with us? So we're gonna do some bench tests to make sure I can take calls on here, because Rip, I don't do that fucking video shit. Can you get me there on the phone, Pops?
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, I'll fucking do it then. So the hustler Rip Rogers is going to be on the Monday locker room, and you want a fucking bang game? Game knows what 2CW's done. He don't know who was behind it. He doesn't know the fucking real deal of who it is. And at the same time, you want to talk real inside shit? Okay, the crossover from 2CW and Hameen Media Group and the OG when he first started with China at Killer Kowalski is Strangler Steve King, host of the Wednesday locker room. So, I got a lot of respect for Kowalski guys, and then obviously Game's legacy, but you want to bang on Hustler? Rip does need the money. He's the fucking hustler. You pay him. You fucking pay him his money, and they probably owe him in what he's produced for them. They should just cut Rip a check for $2 million and shut the fuck up.
He should be one of the guys on a weekly that Vince just gives even 500 a week to forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Here's the thing though. Now you're making fun. This is where a little bit of the Triple H I knew when I was in the locker room comes out. You remember I would tell you stories off camera and a little on. This is kind of that passive aggressive, condescending kind of tone. He's cleaned it up a lot in the corporate structure, but he can still be that really petty fucking guy. Now here's what he did. He called him a mark. He said he bought a ring, did all these things, all that stuff and everything. The Pat McAfee that everybody made fun of, like when he was on the NFL Network, and I'm not saying it just because of 2020 hindsight. When he was on the NFL Network, I go, that guy's a fucking star. Why don't they just hire him? He's entertaining. He's different. He's enthusiastic. He makes me think football is fun. And then he disappeared from NFL Network because he didn't fit the mold. We're talking about 5-7 years ago, dude, when he was still a punter. Like he had the longer hair. He had the mugshot look he had. And then he disappeared. He got his money with punting. And then just to give people background, his GM treated him like shit. And he goes, I'm not taking your fucking shit, and call him go fuck off. And McAfee was ahead of the curve with like trolling social media and being entertaining on Twitter and stuff like that. And once again, he was ahead of the curve and didn't really fit in. He started his own podcast, which I followed since day one, not every single day, but I followed it because I liked the ambiance. I liked the fact that he held the microphone like a stand-up as he sat there. And I'm fascinated with audio setups and stuff. So he had his crew there. I don't think anybody was making any money. He was probably paying him out of his own pocket. They had a little office there. So McAfee, who was the punter of the decade for the NFL, the best to play his position in 10 years. That's what he was voted by his peers and by the NFL. So then he decides he wants to, he's a wrestling fan, talks about it, gives it a lot of promotion. He decides when I think they upgrade their facility, he decides to play around, buy a ring, and he wants to get trained by Rip too. That happened before he bought the ring, I think. He went to OVW. So,
yeah, dude, I remember getting sent the video right from, I think it was Hayes' phone, but he trial by fire. I don't care if you're in NFL or not. If you're in the Ohio Valley region and you're going to get over, you're going to have to take chops from Von Lilas, the hardest chopper I think I've ever seen in the world. Strong. I mean, Big Show maybe, but that's just because even bigger size. But dude, and he got McAfee stood in the pocket, got lit up, dude. Fucking crushed like everybody else. So he wanted the trial by fire. He wasn't asking to be handed nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and then fast forwarding, just talk about how he built that brand. I think they were with Bleacher Report at first, which was, it's a good deal to have on Bleacher Report is kind of funding your podcast. You're a podcaster now and you're making money. We know how cool that is. Then he goes to ESPN. Then he's like the hardest working man. He's flying all over in a private jet, ESPN, college football. And then he's doing NXT probably because he loves wrestling and he's just put a pin in that. He loves wrestling. He doesn't need the money for that. Then the fucking Michael Cole trying to get over with Vince by burying him just before the WrestleMania kickoff show. This is where I gained even more respect for McAfee. Right before WrestleMania, the biggest moment that any person, mark or not, would say, this is fucking cool to be part of this in WWE and WrestleMania. So fuck you. I don't need this. This is my second job. And was going to walk out, which oh man, he should have done it. He would have been forever famous. I would have loved him even more if he did that. Fuck you guys. And then they probably would have paid him even more after that.
And they iced him because of it. And now they're using him again because he's something that's way more real and interesting than anything they tried to do with After the Bell or Raw Talk or whatever bullshit that is more just canned noise that doesn't draw whatsoever.
Because what he did was he's allowed to be Pat McAfee because he's going to do it whether you like it or not. He was Pat McAfee on NXT, rubbed some of the boys the wrong way, but the boys have to get over. If somebody's over, you fucking either join in or try to get a rub off him, or you try to be more over. This needs to stop. That guy is different. He doesn't like that. That's the Big Show thing when he was there. And then the Hunter thing with the interview explaining it. He gets a massive deal with FanDuel, a betting site or a betting thing, which it's coming around where now more than ever, I guess legalized gambling is more important than ever for the NFL and other sports.
Yeah, especially decentralized, nobody's going to the casinos to do shit.
It's the only thing that it's probably their biggest moneymaker right now because they don't have fans or any of that shit. So what does he do? And this is another thing that earns my respect with Pat McAfee. He goes to a bank, spends the time to fill backpacks full of cash to give it to his boys, surprise his boys who stuck with him, probably not making any money or a little bit just to keep them above water. They all came up to much like right here with you, with everybody who works with you.
I'm not at the backpacks full of cash level yet, guys. Don't get your hopes up.
You never know because he probably never guessed he would be either.
Yeah, I'd love to be.
FanDuel, now after all this, he's doing WWE and especially NXT, which is still consistently kind of getting beat by AEW or neck and neck, giving them giving them free advertising on a platform that gets 300,000 views per micro content, much less the live stream. And Hunter's going to come on and call him a mark. I mean, I can't really wrap my head around that. I know Hunter's supposed to be the baby face, but is he a neutral heel? Is he this or that? What was he supposed to be?
Let me see, because like I said, as it relates to the story, I didn't see it all yet. Let me see, where is it? Because
I just know the guy. I know the guy too. I know the guy. What's that?
It was a good work shoot, right? Like on the McAfee thing to call him out and do the Napoleon complex fuck you thing, right? Whatever. But then Game comes on and goes to bat for his boy, and wrestling is like you're from the outside, man, you're over. And the boys just take some, especially during this time, umbrage with like somebody coming in to talk shit who's never done it. And like, even though you're in line, bangs on him locker room wise and throws Rip under the bus for whatever is the clip I saw, because people just wanted to tag. I didn't see all of it, the rest of it yet, but I get where they're trying to make it real. And I like that. I'm not going to undersell that compared to, dude, Vikings with bowling balls and shit. You know what I mean? And ninjas. At least this is something way better than that.
But it could. But what's the payoff? You said that on the locker room too before.
So then in that Triple H video, he invites McAfee to come settle it at NXT to talk about it. Like, I'm like, here we go with the wrestling. And I said, that's exactly how you're going to ruin this type of shit, man, is doing that. Let's settle it in the ring. Like, let McAfee like be someplace or get the heat on Cole in his own house and do something, man. Like, make it way less wrestling. I'm not saying at home in his own house, but like, Cole wins decisive victory and he's going out. McAfee jumps him or some shit, man. Like something you wouldn't see with his Barstool boys, maybe, as long as it looks real. And then you could probably even do a shitty 8-man with the bros, whatever it is, Mean Street Posse on either side along with them, all their boys. But here's the follow-up in the latest part of the work shoot. Adam Cole releases a statement apologizing for the Pat McAfee incident. What? WWE NXT superstar Adam Cole has released a statement regarding the incident between him and Pat McAfee, recently apologizing for his behavior. Cole appeared on the Pat McAfee show on July 29th, and the two men ended up getting a heating and arguing. Cole snapped after being called short and dropped several F-bombs, pushing McAfee's co-host, breaking some microphones in the process. I know that got you hot, Stevie. Never have I been so taken surprised by an F-bomb. Adam Cole going off on Pat McAfee after some back and forth jabbing on Cole's size. If you haven't heard.
Of all people to say that to me, that I surround myself with super talented reason, that I was successful. You're a psycho.
We didn't say only reason. We said main reason.
Main reason. That's exactly what you're saying.
And since you just kind of took a little jab there at my profession,
you've been taking jabs at me this whole show.
No. I was the player of the decade at my position in the NFL, like being a punter. So although I was surrounded by good people, it was just me and a ball.
And Pat, guess what? I was the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. And guess who did that all by themselves? Oh, that's right, me. Did it all by myself.
Nah, don't believe that. We watched the takeovers, Adam. The Undisputed Era is the main reason why you've succeeded. But by the way, smart. That's good business. Hey, that's business, baby. That's very smart. Oh, and especially for you, because you're kind of small.
Oh, we're gonna go with the size thing now. Fuck you, Pat. Seriously, I'm sick of your shit. I come the whole way here, take time away from my family to come to do your stupid fucking show, and you're gonna continue to disrespect me. Don't touch me.
Whoa!
Fuck you. Fuck you.
No, fuck you. Get out of here.
Shit.
You all right? What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Wow.
Good stuff. Here's the follow-up with Game.
I mean, a lot happened here very quickly. Was I being...
Here's the follow-up with Game.
You're picking fun at something you're not really a part of, and you're attacking people that they see you as a guy that, and you said it on your own show, bought a ring one time, trained with Rip Rogers for a few days because he needed the money, and then interacts with them sometimes like, he's one of them. And I think they're hypersensitive to it. And I think it's been a while because of everything that's going on in the world. It's been a while since you've been around in a big.
So, I mean, that's where we are. But now an apology, is that setting up for a false heat? So here's Adam Cole's tweet. at Adam Cole Pro. I've had a weekend to think about everything, and it's still hard to put into words where to begin. First of all, to anyone that I offended, I apologize. I apologize because I represent a brand that commands respect, not just because of what we did in the ring, but how we handle ourselves outside of the ring. Even though he continued to push my buttons, I still should have kept my composure and acted like a professional. I'm embarrassed by my reaction. I'll make sure something like that never happens again. Thanks for the continued support, everyone. Is this it's tough to read through in a tweet. Like, is this setting up him to be a heel, like, you know, trying to be the pro, and he's obviously going to heel out, so it means that much more when he does heel on him when they were going to face and shake hands, or his boys jump Pat McAfee and beat him down. I mean, that's really what's going to happen, right? That's about as high level as this is. Or is this a worked shoot that got canceled, and now he's putting that out there to toe the corporate line? Those are about the only two roads I see it going down. Third road is you try to do a work shoot, you insult a guy who's a fucking legend in this business, and now the shoot side might come back from a part that you can't handle into the work side that you didn't want it to because you wanted to, and now you're going to get clapped back on a little bit too.
Like, booking in hindsight, I would have had Pat McAfee tell Hunter to go fuck himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and defend Rip Rogers or defend the basis when you're looking at a casual viewer or somebody to watch his Pat McAfee show. You'll have some wrestling fans, but most of them are football fans or just casual viewers that are fans of Pat McAfee. When he starts talking about the Undisputed, I'm thinking about it very critically. Like, how's this going to play out to somebody watching it who has no idea about wrestling, has no idea about anything? Of course, people are going to say, Adam Cole's too small. Look at that small guy. But if you can present that in a heel way, it's good. But when he's talking about, you were the punter of the decade and I was the longest reigning NXT champion, and then what? Do you see what I mean? Somebody might just be like, this is fucking stupid fake wrestling. Like, you already have 2 strikes against you as a business anyway, and you got to present it in a way. Hunter coming on was a little bit better to wrap a bow on it. But I think I'll go with you. I think that they've been doing that a lot. They're doing with the Nation of Domination angle. They dipped their toe in the water without spending $100 million. Little Easter egg there. And they dipped their toe in the water or put their finger in the wind. And then if they look like there's going to be some kind of blowback, they get scared and they don't do it. Or maybe they just did it and then they realized, like we said, we don't really have a good way out of this. We should have booked at the end and worked our way backwards. Right. Whatever happened to that, by the way?
I don't know, but that's the only thing I can think of. Is this a false lip service apology to set up to make the heat?
No, but then you should say Pat McAfee will come on NXT live for a public, or Adam Cole will do a public apology to Pat McAfee live on NXT. Yeah, that would draw. Yeah, a tweet doesn't mean shit. Oh no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. And, you know, and if he did a video too where he read it, like when Terrell Owens got suspended, after he apologized, and he literally read it with no emotion, and you saw him looking at the paper, that's a heel move.
Yeah,
not a tweet. Like you said, I don't know if he's fucking sarcastic, serious, forced to do it, or meant to do it. It doesn't matter. And then, you know what? I would include Rip Rogers because he's the only one that can protect the Pat McAfee and the boys, if they're even involved, from looking like a bunch of backyarders. I don't care if he had a ring, if he trained with Rip. When you're rusty, you're rusty. It's something that even if I got in the ring, I need to work out the rust to look smoother, to have that timing, all that stuff. And one more thing about that too, the analogy to that is, as great as it was, American Top Team on Impact, Lashley looked great, but even Hardnett and Blake and all those guys at the time, I think they had a big, far Australian guy too. You could tell how green they were and how much it just didn't sync up. You knew you had amateurs in the ring, even though they were professional fighters. They look like shit in a pro wrestling environment.
Rip could come in with McAfee and 3 or 4 of his own Rip guys, Tony Gunn, Michael Hayes, even Von Lilas come in and chop the shit out of people. That'd just be his spot. And call him, do a little mini invasion Rip's guy. Because I was talking to him, he's like, you know, I don't fucking watch Pops. I don't even watch that fucking AEW shit. I don't even know what the fuck is there, who's doing what, you know. And then talking about the numbers, he goes, they're fucking fighting back and forth over their goddamn developmental territory like it's fucking something. And that's part of this too, with Cole being like, I represent a brand. Like, he believes that, but they've poisoned their mind that NXT is the brand. This is our house. So, and that's what I would want too if I was running it. But the reality of it is they're still in developmental, dude. They're not doing, and developmental is also on the main roster TV at this time too. Don't get me wrong, but like, they're delusionally believing that there's something that they're not when it's, and so is AEW by acting that they're over on them. AEW is doing what? That was Rip's point. You're beating the developmental. Good for you.
You're beating the developmental, and then you have to break it down when you don't beat the developmental that you beat them in a demo.
Yeah.
Now you're saying we don't give a fuck about kids. We don't give a fuck about people over 49, which, by the way, they have probably the most disposable income that you want.
Man Beast and I were talking about this too, and I mentioned to Rip, I go, Rip, they just had a fucking JR was shitting on him from the inside, and last night, dude, JR was shitting on everything on commentary, bro. There were so many inside fuck yous on that show. It's not a good look over there. We'll get to it.
I want to say too that because we made a joke about it on Raw SmackDown review, even though it's not a joke. If Pat McAfee had offered me or you or both of us, would be great to go to Indianapolis and learn for a month how this whole thing is set up with the podcast. You and I would be on a plane to Indianapolis right now, and we'd pay for a fucking extended stay and room together. And we'd learn. And that's a hit on what's wrong with the wrestlers today too, that they won't listen to JR. Where I come from an era. If JR gave me 5 minutes, I'd soak up every single one of them, even if at times I didn't appreciate the way he treated me or paid me or how fluctuating it could be, because it was still very fluid, how you didn't know what you were doing week to week and you didn't know what your pay was. And JR is obviously in the enemy spot, head of talent relations. Mm-hmm. But whenever he gave me time, I used it. Whenever Pat Patterson would give me 2 minutes to tell me how my finish should be, whenever anybody would do it. I mean, Vince was just whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not waiting outside for 4 hours either. I'll get to that. But anybody like a JR that would, are you frozen?
No, I'm right here just listening.
Okay. Whenever I thought you were looking off like one of the AEW wrestlers. No, I'm kidding. You were looking at me.
Yeah.
That just grates me. I am seriously tempted, although I don't have his number. I know I can get it. I would love to call JR and just let him know, man, every little bit of time you gave me, I appreciate. And I'm sorry you have to go through that. I stopped doing that because he probably doesn't want to be bothered, but that's something I have inside me that I would love to do.
I disagree with that right now. He's there, you know, he's doing wrestling, and then he's probably looking for friends and whatnot to reach out. So Kaz or whoever, clip this, send it and tag him on it, man. If guys aren't soaking in that knowledge, know that I hope you get a producer and you do your whole own online college of wrestling knowledge, because you can make money, JR, on the side. Not only that, but your legacy will be even more preserved and the knowledge will be passed on how it should be to people who will actually appreciate it and say, wow, I'm glad that I took time to actually learn from a master instead of just being into myself and ignorant, man.
Well, I'm gonna give a little story about the way it was. And at the time, at times being a kid, I was like, man, this sucks or whatever. But I knew I was getting return with knowledge. I would drive Raven everywhere. I would get his food. This was one of our off days. I would get his food for him. Sometimes I was doing, and I get made fun of this to this day. Sometimes I would do his laundry for him. Sometimes I was fucking help him clean up in his place, because I knew the knowledge I was getting, even though I was so immature and didn't realize to the fullest extent how much he knew. I knew he knew more than me, and I knew I needed guidance and I needed the information. And I got made fun of and people said it, but the fucking business could use a little more of these young kids doing people's laundry and fucking driving people around. Somebody should be doing JR's laundry right now to get some fucking knowledge from him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it'll get you over on commentary. There was one seg last night, more than one, but where he got some shit in. But even at the end, he was like, who wrote that?
Really?
I think it was Jericho's walk off. Like they're like, he smells one of the dudes in the inner circle smells the jacket. He goes, "You smell like cat pee." And he goes, "Ah," and storms off. And then one of the LAX dudes just stands there glaring down Shivani. He goes, "It smelled like cat pee." And there's like to get over the terrible line and walk off. And Jared's like, "Who wrote that shit?" Who wrote that? I was just like, oof. It was, dude, there was a lot of big, just flat moments last night. And we'll get to that on Light the Fuse later today, hopefully with Chris Silvio. If not, don't mind if he lays out and he's on the recovery. But if not, MSG and I will be back here probably an hour after this show ends, right around 11 a.m., between 11 and noon. So we'll go back live on StreamYard and do that on YouTube and on twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Haven't really been paying too much attention to the chat because into what Stevie and I have been talking about, obviously. And Monday Locker Room should be an interesting one. Hopefully we can get the hustler on here. He's not always the most tech savvy, but I'll make it as easy as possible for him. So there was one other thing I had too with that where they're up against the wrestling college and they think they're over. I don't know. I'll let Rip tell it. He'll tell it better than I can. So yeah, Khan needs a boss. They're saying there. Khan needs a big brother. And here's two good big brothers right here, man. Not just good brothers. We're going to dip into your paycheck, but big brothers who are going to pull you aside and say, "Put the phone down. Come here for a minute, buddy." Let's shut the door over there. Shut the door. And we gotta sit down and talk about some things, dude. These guys are picking your pockets, and the guy you're invested in or you're in love with, I don't know if you're in love with him or not. You might be in love with him. If you are, that's cool. But that's not the guy who's going to make you money and keep you on TV, dude. So, do what you want to do. But here's our list of things that really got to happen pronto. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble by the 1-year anniversary. And I don't want to see that happen to you. You said all this stuff, man, but it's coming back to, I don't got to tell you how it rears its ugly head. I mean, we had to take the guy off commentary. I mean, what are you going to do? It's these things we're setting up, man. And I just want you to avoid those landmines. It's all for your own good, dude. I'm not here to try and fuck with you. You can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's your biz.
Everybody thinks you're talking to me. Like, he's talking to Stevie. What is
Stevie, like was that too fucking like the realness
that
of
was
that
80s love song radio host. That was
Well, that's how you got to approach. Yeah, that's how you got to approach them, right? You can't be like, "Get the fuck in here."
That was very Kevin. That was very Kevin Nash like. I got to give you that.
Thank you,
Kevin Nash, cool, smooth. As the hands coming around to grab the wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get earned that.
Yeah, right? That's not free, man.
That shit's worth its weight in gold, right there, dude.
No, I absolutely agree. And they're in the red. He admitted they're in the red. And when you dip your toe, and we make fun of it, it's a meme now. Dipping your toe in the water on a $100 million investment that's in the red is really publicly admitting that. I understand what he said. I mean, I do get the meaning of what he said, but you have to look at it and say, everybody else is trying to reinvent the wheel. WWE is trying to reinvent their own wheel and not sticking with their identity. Let's do the opposite. Like, whatever happened to that? Like, nobody's doing the opposite of what anyone else is doing. Going back to McAfee, that's why he's probably the most successful podcaster outside of Rogan, who also does the opposite of what everybody else does.
It was a forced scene, excuse me, but there was one huge beacon of light in the show last night, and that's MJF. They're doing a like MJF for president type thing, but they're not saying president. It's to get world titles and be on top and whatever. And he's got an entourage with him now, and he does a presidential Trump press conference, heater style, but he lays down everything that's like, you said it was going to be one thing, and he's actually in the beginning, he's actually shooting on Cody 100%, and without saying Cody, but then in the next line, he switches it to his business of Moxley, and they put it on Moxley. But fans will not know that, like the dissension that's going on behind the scenes over there right now. That whole first part of that promo was a shot at Cody from the locker room, and the whole second part was his Moxley business. So, and the way he delivered it is brilliant, dude. He is light years ahead of everybody else on that roster promo character believability wise. He buries the spot fest shit. He's like, you think you're conditioned because they condition you that's wrestling. That's not wrestling. Dude, he says everything what that Cornette, Russo, the Booker T, all of them say, but as a 26-year-old entitled white kid, and it's fucking, he delivers it brilliantly, dude. But they had to force the Donald Trump shit in the beginning that made it a little wrestling, but his talent definitely shined during that.
I wonder if he's one of the lowest paid guys that are the full-time contract guys. I bet he is. It's usually the way it works, right?
And now here comes, and we'll get back to this discussion that's been in 2 weeks. You're the one who texted to me. I'll let you stooge it off. The big debut with no fucking video package or whatever. Just hire your buddy and run in because they had a secret meeting with somebody, and there he was in all of his glory.
I'll allow you to keep going.
Matt Cardona, major brother, good to see him, but it looks like he's been working on that forehead machine. Forehead was big as a motherfucker. I don't know. Dude, what is going on in Florida, bro?
Well, you tell everybody what's going on in Florida. You seem to have
I don't know.
The Project Veritas type presentation in this.
I don't know. All I can say is my eyes.
I'm not saying but you.
Sure,
eye test, as Skip Bayless says, the eye test, and I like. I'll call him Zack Ryder still until that's what wrestlers do. We can't. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. AEW acknowledges WWE, and that's what makes them different. But they couldn't say, "Is that former WWE wrestler Zack Ryder?" And then he comes out and says, "That's I don't use that name anymore. This is the name. I want to be known that this is real." And but whatever, they squeezed it in, like you said. It could have been 4 weeks of vignettes or whatever. He literally didn't even run out. It looked like he walked out, and then throw some of the stiffest fucking rubber mallets you ever saw these guys. But here's the thing too. These guys started trying to light them up when I'm like, you couldn't even get them as strong as you needed to get them for the run-in. Did you see that part? Did you feel that?
Yes.
They're starting to light them up in the corner. It's like, stop that, man. You're supposed to be shocked. It's like, what's he doing here? So I'll let you continue with the
burial of myself where you're not fucking involved with it at all, dude. There's
I don't say dude.
The amount of guys who are on gas in Florida right now is insane. And we'll talk about another guy who's working the internet, Rusev, apparently retiring from wrestling to focus on his video game Twitch career. Yeah, sure.
I love that. That's the perfect troll tweet.
That's such a great troll, bro. While he's fucking gassed to the gills. Roman Reigns, like, just insane, looking to be The Rock's body double. The Rock, dude, just go look at The Rock's legs in his fucking in his goddamn Instagram. Billy Gunn, released from WWE for it, fucking posting pictures with guys who are just they look like
their reputations too.
Their heads look like they're from Easter Island.
As Mike O'Hearn and Heath, forget the last name. He was with the Saints. He was with the NFL Network. He was involved in a pretty big scandal himself. But that Mike O'Hearn is directly. I mean, these guys are all connected in some way to some kind of PED.
And they're blatant about what's going on because, I felt good off of Stevie Richards Fitness. I did have 3 tacos the other night, late night past when I should have eaten them, but I was done with the Horseman. I was hungry. And, but there's I don't care if you're doing 4 hours a day straight in the gym, heavy lift, everything, cardio, you can get in great shape. You can't look like that. There's just no way. Not in a P90X 90-day time frame, dude. It's unreal. And like I said, side effects of steroids are fame, wealth, and popularity, and also heart and liver failure. But
this is tough for me because obviously you have to put the work in to do that, whether you're on drugs or not. You're on if you're on steroids or growth, you still have to put the work in and work out hard. So it's not like these guys are not working out hard, but when you measure the rate, you say the side effects, but also heart disease, kidney failure, fucking early death, fucking rage, all these things. And, there's a term that, like I said before on last week's locker room, that you can have a natural testosterone. You can do TRT and bring your natural testosterone up to like 300, 400, 500, 600. So if you're almost 50, that's a good number anyway, because it naturally goes down. And then if you're somebody that previously did it, I knew somebody that did it that wasn't in WWE, but was a wrestler, and his was fucking like 96 when he decided, I got to get on TRT. I don't know what his levels are now, but there's people that are doing this stuff and they want their levels to go up to 1100. Can you imagine somebody with 1100 testosterone level in this day and age where everybody's fucking stressed out and everybody's ready to go anyway, and put that motherfucker in the middle of a plane and somebody trying to tell him to keep his mask on? He's a star on TV who thinks that he's better than everyone. Am I wrong?
Oh,
that's a fucking recipe for disaster.
yes.
But being a guy, I'm going to be 49 in October, and I like using words like fit, healthy, well, stuff like that, because it really is a mindset. Because the poisoning of your mind in wrestling to think that I have to be as tan as possible, I have to be as big as possible, I have to look like an action figure. This is also a problem too with the younger talent. Rather than learn how to work, to have a crutch of the aesthetic look, and then, like you say, the bell rings. Where I'm looking at Arn Anderson, even with the way he's defending himself in the corner, I'm like, that fucker looks like he's ready to fight. I don't know. Like, he's got, it's the old vet that can fucking throw, that can box.
The guy on the bus who fucking knocked the one dude out, the old vet.
But you see what I mean? Like, that will never leave you. Scott Hall can work no matter what's going on in his life, no matter what his body looks like. And he was one of the first guys that said, hey, if your body goes and you know how to work, you're still going to get work. Kevin Nash can still work. I don't care if people say, well, whatever about him being injury prone or whatever, but you see Kevin Nash in the ring and then he does what he does well and he talks and you're like, that's a big motherfucker. And he's going to be on TV next week.
I'd like, whatever, like a week or two ago, I checked on the rep and like, hey, what's going on, hustler? He just fucking sends you back.
How old is Rep?
I think 61.
61 years old, and dare I say it, he's in better shape than most of the guys half his age.
He clocks in before pandemic for the last 2 years at his gym. They have a board who's there the most. He does double sessions every day. He was there 322 days out of 365 days last year, and probably most of those were double sessions.
It's just, it is possible, and that's also the thing too. You got to be, there are certain people that I saw throughout my career as well that relied on that stuff, but never trained to the point of sticking point, a plateau. Yeah. And that's essentially, if you're doing stuff like that, what I've seen the people that have done it not correctly, but they hit such a plateau, and then that was to take them to the next level. But I think a lot of these guys, they start doing it, then they train, then they don't think about their diet, which at 49 years old, I'm doing things now to try to address that, because I'm not in the best shape I can be in, because I look at it critically and say, hey, there is holes in my diet. Maybe I'm not eating enough. Maybe I'm eating too much. Maybe I need to intermittent fast more. These are the things that you have to think about as your body. Like, it's like a lab experiment, but there's literally a lab experiment with they're going through fucking Merck and the other companies. I hate to laugh about it, dude, but your body will go back to what it's supposed to be anyway. And my thought process is, with me being, me being clean all throughout my career and my life, and still looking, and I told you honestly last week, doctors are telling me when I go for my yearly checkup, dude, you should do this half cc every 2 weeks of testosterone. That's a therapeutic dose of TRT. And I'm fucking avoiding it because I hate needles. I hate any drugs. And this thing could probably help me get better sleep, could probably do a lot of good for preventing injuries or anything like that. But I'm still, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. My
own fucking stubbornness in a way of, no, because then I'll be lumped in with these guys.
Well, as a cheater. Like, here's the question that I have to ask with what they're doing, allegedly, in my mind. Why? Like, there's no road show. There's no big Saudi show you got to be ready for and look a certain way for a big payoff. There's no fucking, big push because of it. They're just doing this shit for their own vanity while they're trapped inside. And I don't understand what the payoff is supposed to be leading to wherever it's going to go, dude. I mean, you heard Heath Slater's voice when they brought him back for that Drew McIntyre segment. It was 3 octaves lower, like
Fudge is right. It's an addiction. Now it's too late. Now it's literally an addiction. And now,
or how about addiction? You want to talk about the picture I sent you? That's now the Horseman gimmick.
Well, go to that in a second, but I want to talk about this. The problem is now it's not so much the addiction for the look. It's the fear. That's another thing. It's the fear now that when you stop, you're not going to look as good in your mind. Like there's no turning back for a lot of these people, including the one you just showed a picture of, right? Once you get to a point, you cross the Rubicon and you're fucking done. It's all or none, because if you're ever all right, if Billy Gunn or whoever is alleged to do these things, see, I'll do that so I don't get sued. If any of these people go back and say they stop doing it and they end up looking like it, and they end up looking like me. They end up looking like me, which I don't think I look terrible. They're going to think that I look terrible. That's what they're going to think. Am I wrong? Because now they look like a fit, healthy 50, 60-year-old man and not a fucking, like, walking through an airport, the Vince McMahon line, walking through an airport and like, God damn, who's that fucking son of a bitch? I have body dysmorphia. Somebody said body dysmorphia, Atlanta Flasher. I have body dysmorphia too, but guess what I do? I train hard. I try to do my diet as much as possible. I hold myself hyper accountable. It's on me, which is different than saying, how can I go get some help? Even the testosterone booster stuff, like there's certain things like pine pollen and natural tinctures and things like that can raise your testosterone. It's also very important to lower your cortisol levels. You've been under a lot of stress, and I've talked to you about it. Lower the cortisol levels so you don't have that chemical reaction. If you're training 4 hours a day and you're stressed the fuck out and you don't get to sleep, guess what's going to happen? Nothing good. So all your training isn't going to matter from a chemical internal body chemistry perspective. I don't think that these guys are educated enough or curious enough with their own fitness and bodies to look at that, because I guarantee you that probably somebody who's on right now probably would get good 50% because they have the mindset to train so hard. If they tweaked it and they worked out a little smarter and everything around it was done, 50% results to maybe be, 100% healthier is pretty good. And also, it costs a ton of money, dude. It's got to. What are they running? $2-3 grand a month minimum on this shit?
To be able to look like that, absolutely. Appreciate everybody chiming in.
I have a lot of tangents today. I'm sorry, man.
It's a great conversation, man, as it all relates to it, man, and some mental health disorder that's going on there, dude. And then, like we said, it's going to end up in a big bust with not wrestlers, but whoever the pipeline is. And then they're going to give up all of their celebrity clients. And now you're into a whole different bag of tricks this time instead of just trying to look good. They were burying Paige. They were burying Paige's Twitter or Twitch channel here and said they wanted to throw her under the bus because she just goes over there and all she does is thank people for bits. There's no shows, no content, no.
But she's getting bits.
Yeah, absolutely. She's selling access, but like 4 hours, it's just like, I'm a celebrity on a street corner. Fucking give me money. Like, no, whatever. But
and what, 13 grand a month, or she makes 6 figures?
Probably.
But you know what? That's the, hey, you cheering the bits to her. If we could just sit here, we have a lot of content to talk about, a lot of things to actually discuss, but we could sit there and thank people for bits and super chats all day too. That's a hell of a job. I want to go back to one more thing, just as a point to talk. If anybody in the business listens or thinks about it, where I'm at right now and having a home gym and having affiliate codes and stuff like that and be able to monetize the things I love no matter what, I seem, even though I don't look as good as Rusev or Billy Gunn or Zack Ryder as the other guys who have much bigger followings than I'll ever have in my social media lifetime, I still manage. I talk to you every day. These affiliate sales go through. People trust my opinion with the Force USA stuff, the Diamondback Fitness stuff, the other codes that I use, or even just supporting me through Stevie Richards Fitness and the programs I created. Well, I doubt that. I doubt that Zack Ryder or Billy Gunn or any of these other guys would do worse to me if they started their own stuff like that and they pitched things and they became a pitch man or a reviewer on YouTube. I just don't get it. Like there is a monetary path for people that can just, be honest with the audience and honest with themselves and put out good stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
no, it definitely does. So I'm just getting hit up, and I was looking for the audio, but somebody, Society 858, shout out to you, said, you guys see someone and paid $400 on Cameo to ask out Alexa Bliss, and she said no. Like turned them down gently. Well, there'll be somebody out there for you.
But she got $400,
$400 to fucking
just say no.
Yeah, just say no, baby. Man, yeah. I mean, $5, I'll fucking smash my hand across your fucking face. So
actually, I got to start the $5 compliments.
That's right. That'll all be Patreon, the frig out here soon enough, as we'll probably get together this weekend and start creating content to get things kicked off hopefully next week. Oh shit.
Oh,
500. Stevie's waiting for $500 and he'll say yes. So that's what he does. He waits till everybody else says no, and then he ups the price and says yes. What won't they do, Stevie? All right, here we go. Let's run it down. Biggest headline people are asking about: Excalibur misses tonight's AEW. Tonight just featured Jim Ross, Schiavone, and Taz. And Taz and JR were going back and forth at it in like a kind of hey, even though they were having to work. I don't know. It was all right just based on shitty storyline. JR's had enough, I think. But Excalibur was missing from tonight's show. There was a big controversy that they're actually leaving out here. Video has surfaced of, when he was working PWG and with Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens. And dude, it wasn't some Jim Ross behind the scenes N-bomb stuff. Like it's right in they come out on a live show and drop the hard R N-bomb, like, whether they were told to or not, and I think they've apologized for in the past, but then there's another promo where he does the line from either at the end of Ice Cube, Jacking for Beats, or he's the line from The Wire, surprise motherfucker, but at the end of Ice Cube, Jacking for Beats, stop, or NWA, surprise.
Motherfucker, it's Dexter, isn't it? With the cop.
It might
surprise,
be
motherfucker. That was Dexter's thing.
Oh, it's also on The Wire where he comes out from the surprise motherfucker. But
he said it like every episode to Dexter, where it was a meme on YouTube. Okay. You gotta check it out. Sorry.
But stop, surprise is from NWA, and Excalibur uses it in a promo from back in the day, and this stuff surfaces. Okay, whatever. I'm a hip hop guy. Plus, I don't think any word should ever be banned from the lexicon ever, to be double speak and rewritten. But here's where buddy, come here in the office, close the door. We got to talk. We got a problem, dude. This video came up with Excalibur. Remember, you banned Hogan for the same things, and now we've got this guy on the payroll. We're gonna look a little silly. I don't think we can just send him sensitivity training and then bring him back under a lucha mask, because he already does a lucha mask thing. So what are we going to do, man? We're probably going to have to take this guy out and take him off TV and replace him, right? Because we set this up for our fans are going to go crazy. They're going to bail if we don't do something about it. Stevie, what
would you do?
I'd get rid of him. And I'd
get rid of him because the current climate has you've been painted into an awful corner. Like from what we've heard, other people were supposed to be exposed for certain reasons that might be like, well, okay, but because of the glass houses with stones, analogy, almost anybody in that company could come down.
Could come down real hard on him, man. There's plenty of them, but here you got to do it. But then if you ban that guy, does he know where the bodies are buried? And he's like, if I go down, everybody's going down, and da 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 da, right? And also, this is the payback. This is the Ryan Satin payback theory. You go at everybody else for all these things, and then your own misgivings are the things that take you out in the end, right? After you try and set up these standards for who or whatever else, man. And in the end, it always comes back to bite them in the ass when they try and preach from on high like they're going to do something. And we'd never have a racist like Hogan here. Da, da, da. Meanwhile, he's unaware that this video exists, or should have been made aware that it could have bitten him in the ass. And now they look a fool, and they have to do it, right? They've set up this rule that they have to come back and do it. So,
well, they could also have him unmasked, shave off the facial hair, and bring him out as his real name, even though his voice sounds very distinct. Yeah, that's another way to go.
I think that their SJW fan base is just going to want to claim they got to have blood, dude. They've all turned on each other. They've turned on themselves. We covered this on Ellen with the toxicity thing last night on Conspiracy Horseman. This is how the pendulum's swinging. They've chopped out everybody else. Now they've got to fucking swing it around in their own house, and they're going to take out their own people one by one, dude, because they have to. And there's a guy who I think is better for the job anyway. I won't say his name right now. Because I hope he gets it, to be honest with you. And I think he could get it.
That's a hell of a tease.
He wanted to talk last night after AEW, and he must have gone to bed early and fade me because I think.
So what was the Taz and JR going back and forth at each other about? Was just because of what was going on in the ring?
Taz was trying to work heel,
okay.
Commentary, but JR's had enough of shitty creative. Taz tries to sell for the guys that are going on in the ring, but then there's times where they're both scoffing, and Taz has to actually stop breaking heel to be an old-timey vet with JR, because JR don't give a fuck anymore. JR's like, they couldn't even get your goddamn dry cleaning done because of COVID or whatever. Everybody's got an excuse for not getting something done. And like, I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah, dude. And then with MJF's shoot in that promo too, there's a lot of stuff that's bleeding over, I think, that's not written in there to be that way. It's just guys are doing what they want to do, man. So
I'll still say this, but I did light the fuse last week with you when Chris was in the hospital. And by the way, get well soon. He's got to GoFundMe. More importantly, everybody should go support that.
Yeah, for the GoFundMe, guys. He's close. He's about $3,200 of $5,000 goal to help pay for his medical expenses. He's having some definite issues from years in the ring, brain trauma, man. And anything you can do to help out my boy Sil, Chris Silvio, GoFundMe.
But no, I feel like I have it too. What was I saying?
Well, we were just coming off of JR like having enough, and him and Taz going back and forth, and like them getting shots on because the locker rooms really kind of divided each other apart.
I remember, like I said on AEW, because I never really watched the full episode of AEW, and I got to check out a really long highlight show, which gave me more than most of the stuff that I can tend to tolerate with SmackDown. Ding dong. But I'll say this, their atmosphere and doing it in that open air stadium, Daly's Place or whatever it is, right near Jacksonville Stadium, and the fact they have pyro to open, it's open air, they pump in a little bit of crowd noise, they seem to have more people around the ring that are there, no plexiglass, stuff like that. It definitely feels more like a live TV presentation, and it feels like it has more life to it. I got to give them credit for that. They're trying to at least present it without just, we're definitely phoning in Raw and SmackDown. That's just like whatever. But
1.46 hour 3 new low.
I just wonder, like somebody in the chat said, they're only one big controversy away, or one more controversy. I'll look and see the exact thing from just going away. Just would go one big controversy away. I don't even know if it's that big of a one. It depends on who it is. If it's one of the four, or anywhere around that top tier executive vice presidents, or anybody close to him, that could do it. Or even Khan himself. And they're not opposed to controversy with, the way they deal with the Jacksonville Jaguar players, splitting his time between the football. With Disco put it over, he's splitting his time between analytics or whatever job he has with the Jaguars. He works with the ownership, because he's one of the owners with his dad, of the football league over in Europe. And he has AEW. You don't think we try to split our time just with the little businesses we have? You don't think something is suffering or everything is suffering?
Yeah, everything is suffering, and they're all trying to put as many bubblegum pieces on the cracks in the dam as they can, right? And we'll see how it floods.
Somebody asked too if Taz is Taz over AEW as well. Taz can smile, and Taz can be very entertaining. He can play the game, and he's political. But I know the real Taz. He's looking at these guys very much like JR at a lot of points, and he can't hide it.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 times last night. It was exactly that, dude. Taz is right in the same fucking vein as JR, where they watch these guys and like, oh, why the fuck did he do that? Like, they're pretty much doing that on camera now, dude. So I don't really have it up as a story. Jesus, there's so many headlines. I'm not even gonna get through them. Well, it doesn't matter, because this is the locker room. We don't need to get through the headlines. You want headlines, go to prowrestling.com or WrestleStink, wherever you get your wrestling news, and check on it.
Read all the grammatical spaces and errors too.
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is you sent over the Joey Ryan, an hour long. I only watched 10, 15, maybe tops, 10, 12 minutes, where he's refuting some of the allegations against him, and showing, in an edited piece, the private direct messages between him and what was a fan that he, who did approach him or whatever. And, he was trepidatious at first, but then, that's just limping in to see where things are going, in my opinion. And who knows, in an edited video, what other pieces are left out of that conversation to make his argument look a certain way. And all porn stash, all slimy looking, puffy hair, dude. He's clean shaven and shit, baby face, completely different look. Looks and sounds very much like this strange 15-minute Mike Quackenbush. Same, I don't know. It's almost like Scientology videos of like a fucking taking inventory or something, and then putting over that they're both in therapy, and that their therapist thought that this would be a best way to address this stuff. Meanwhile, this could all have legal action. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, if I'm a lawyer and I'm taking you to court, this is exhibit A for me right here, dude. You just made my whole fucking case. And there's something as broken in their minds, sexuality wise, or whatever it is they're doing, as it is with body dysmorphia, with the steroid talk, with this type of shit, is some crazy ego narcissism, sociopath moves in my mind. I'm just awestruck that people are doing this, leaving them. Dude, it's like going, I want to protect myself. And then you take all your armor off and give somebody the fucking sword to stab you in the heart who wants to, and go, please don't do it. Like, what do you fucking think is going to happen, man? I don't understand how they can't see this shit. And it's
let me ask you a question. You said in the beginning,
real time. It's like watching somebody have a mental breakdown in real time.
Well, his cadence and delivery and even the voice sounded a lot like Quackenbush with the prepared statements and all that stuff. And,
yeah.
But didn't he say in the very beginning, because I got about as far as you got, didn't he say in the very beginning that the reason why he was doing this, I think 54-minute, 31-second video or whatever it is, didn't he say that at this point there wouldn't be charges? It was some weird little part of that where that raised my antennas up about that. So I don't know if that was a statute of limitations thing, or if that was what that was that his lawyer advised him now that the charges couldn't come forward.
Wrestling is like, yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's it or not. I can't remember.
I'm just guessing, but I know this. The line was basically the charges cannot be made, and now so he wants to speak.
I guess, but wrestling is ruined right now. Like, take a worker mindset. Like, I need to get over when I need to get back over. He might want to run bar wrestling. It can't run right now. And plus damage is done to his career. What do? You stay small, way small, until the next Benoit level event happens and you're fucking old news. And then maybe you can kind of come out and address it after the dust settles. You are right in the eye of the storm of this shit as we approach election, madness, where people are just savage to fucking feast on people and tap dance on their bones and move on to the next one. And they were almost by you. They almost forgot about you. And fucking, you said, come here. Let me give you a whole new fucking thing to chew on. Like, nobody, even if you watch it and it's all validated, it's just, you're watching something that is not mentally sound. I do. That's how I feel.
Is it more tone deaf and lack of awareness, or thinking in the way that, like he had said, at least in the, the first 10 minutes or so that I remember, he had said that, that wrestling is completely separate, or he's basically saying, I don't buy into my own press, and I didn't feel like because I'm over, I can get away with things, or I didn't feel like I was better than anybody else in my off base when I'm just saying he was ascertaining that he can separate reality from the fiction of how his character was over in certain circles. No, I was around him a couple times in a locker room, and you said the same thing. And this is from not anything malicious or anything like that, but a very aloof, arrogant type of attitude with the way he would talk, very condescending the one or two times I was around him. And I was just like, yeah, dude, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. Well, he might not even have meant it, but he saw his push as something, and I was no longer a star. They're all that way. You don't have to be accused of what he's accused of to see that this whole crop and era, they are marks that think because I lost fake matches that they're better than me.
I see what you're saying totally on the one-to-one basis, but let's take a step back and look even wider scope. I don't care about what's being said or what the fucking back and forth, and I can separate wrestling from reality. That's all mealy mouth worker limping. If you don't care about that, and this is to clear your name, then why are you this going to the wrestling world? Like, if you really care about clearing your name, that's about getting this expunged from, any court documents and that kind of shit. And then say, go find the dirt on me. Go, like, that shit was all proven wrong. And I don't need to explain what that shit is in my life to justify it. The move of making a 54-minute video is definition of a sociopath in my fucking mind, dude. The greater human behavior, the Freudian whatever of man, of what would drive you to do that and have to put that out is a greater tell than anything you're saying inside of what that message is, in my opinion.
So what happens next?
Wrestling doesn't come back. His indie career is ruined. He goes and does pornography. And that's pretty much where it'll lie, because there's not going to be Joey Ryan cut that 54-minute video where he docks those girls. And we only know that's a couple of the cases that he's showing us there. But because that, we believe that. So we'll let him back in the entertainment world and do whatever again. And he can just be it. Plus, people are leaving LA in droves. So the Hollywood scumbag thing is out the window. There's going to be no big bounce back for him. So the reality should be, fuck wrestling. It's trying to ruin my life. Let me clear my real name. And what am I going to do as a career going forward to live a small and humble life where I don't have to worry about somebody coming after me again?
That latter one actually sounds like pretty good.
That's
I mean,
how
you can have a very
it's
fulfilling life outside of wrestling and try to get your life together. And I don't know what skills he has outside of what he's done in wrestling. That's very interesting too. What is he, 45, 46 years old, something like that?
I don't know if he's older than me.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough because anybody could come after anybody for anything these days, no matter how big or small it might be. That's the part that it's, I think it's just, I think we have bigger fish to fry when you just said, like, in 2 or 3 weeks, we've said this off camera to each other, 2 or 3 weeks, they might be murdering people in the streets and fighting for food this winter. There's bigger things going on in the world.
If the heat is on me for anything, which it won't be because I don't do fucking stupid shit and I have diplomatic immunity, but if it was and there's some fucking thing like that on you and you got all this going on around you and the world is about to fucking collapse, stay small, shut the fuck up. This too shall pass. Right? Like none of that. It's like, woe is me, I gotta clear my name, instead of it's just out of reach. Hey everybody, come back here. I got something to fucking tell you about everything that you almost forgot about. So you look at me again with a critical lens. That is a fucked up psychology, bro. Like that's something broken inside somebody's head.
Which means he should go back to wrestling.
There's no wrestling to go back to. Whatever happened to Lars Sullivan? That's what they're asking. Whatever indeed.
Is he still under contract?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. People made fun of me for, like, avoiding the cuts.
Yeah. Right. Kairi Sane's officially brought her WWE career to an end.
Jesus Christ!
I didn't do that on purpose. There's some
you went into your invitation. Let's say that you can't help it anymore.
A heartfelt message to the fans, thanking them for their support. Sane's contract is reportedly expired, with the company bringing an end to her time in WWE. Sane and Bayley attacked each other during the WWE Raw Women's Championship match, ending with Asuka leaving, going to help Sane. Kairi Sane said, "My time in NXT and WWE locker room was incredible. Everyone was kind and funny and talented, so every day was full of happiness. I was also saved by the supportive staff behind the scenes," probably because Nia killed her. "I will forever love and respect all these professionals I had a pleasure working with." So a pro on the way out, doing what wrestlers do, but interesting. Maybe, I know she's married. Maybe he wants to go have a family too, or just return home. Who knows?
You think secretly she's kind of glad to be out of that gimmick and out of that whole thing?
I can't see why she wouldn't be. You know what I mean? They came over, did it for 3-4 years. I could see wanting to get the fuck out and go back, and then be super over there, be the top girl there and do what you want to do. So it's smart.
Well, or have a career like Asuka might have an outside with a YouTube channel or some kind of thing in mainstream entertainment where she doesn't have to get thrown into a fucking turnbuckle and, get busted open and do all these different things. It was just probably, dude, you just got to be too, she's from Japan. So she probably misses being home. Just like if we had to be in a foreign country for 3 or 4 years, we're probably like, I want to go back to my own country and do that. I mean, that's, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I mean, do you think she would come out with any kind of thing, like any kind of stooge off about how they were kind of forced to do this fucking racist Japanese gimmick?
I don't know. I haven't seen any other Japanese wrestlers kind of set that precedent. So I think it's just in them to be humble and take it in the fucking anime world they live in. I don't know, man. It is ridiculous. So that no one does stand up for them to say, fuck that shit. Chris Statlander undergoes surgery 2 days ago to get her ACL repaired. Her last match was June 10th, teaming with Sheeta to face Nyla Rose and Penelope Ford, injuring herself when diving onto Kip Sabian on the outside. Dive. So she posted a pic with the big Austin knee brace on post surgery. So we'll see how quick, 4 to 6 months probably.
Was that something that was unnecessary? That was one of the spots you said, right?
Absolutely. Just a fucking stupid. The matches they were having at that time were these women's 4-ways, so sloppy, just Kenny Omega, Japanese wrong style, get your shit in stuff. People not even posting on slams. Nyla coming down on Britt Baker's leg and shit. Like, just it was just the worst of the women's division being pushed on TV to do things in a man's way that they shouldn't be doing at all. Yeah, Vince, this is interesting. Vince McMahon reported a big fan of Aleister Black, but questioned his gimmick. Vince is a huge fan of the performer and of Tommy, size, agility, skill, but he's worried the character is a gimmick and will limit him. That's interesting because there's a follow-up here that says backstage news on possibly writing Aleister Black off of TV. Based on that eye for an eye beatdown that they wrote him off TV for a little while. So I'm not sure if they're going to take him off and repackage him, and that's why they did it, based on Vince liking him, but believe that or not. But here and again, and how can you not go this way in the time of Ellen, Tom Hanks, Oprah, the royal family, the Clintons, everything that's going on, that he is an Aleister Crowley Satanist, marked in all kinds of Freemason and fucking Templar fucking things, and not get it. He's your next Undertaker. And they don't know that with Bray they have money, with him they have money, and with Finn Balor they have money. All three of them fighting in their fucking demonic world to get this type of shit over that is embedded in all pop cultures, from Katy Perry to ancient Egyptian shit, man. What is going on that they can't see it?
Is Vince like secretly like ultra Christian? Because we always said like what are the Illuminati tag team name? I already forgot their name. Ascension. Damien Sandow, who's a Mason, a 32nd, 33rd degree Mason. Aleister Black is a huge Satanist, as far as his character is concerned. I don't know about in real life, but those are tattoos. They aren't going away. And you've done nothing with any of, you've ruined all three of them when they actually are pretty big properties that could be really, really over. The Aleister Black thing is interesting.
Awesome, dude. Ascension and Aleister Black in a Freemason fucking like squad. How sick would that be, dude?
I'm looking because the latest video by Aleister Black and Zelina Vega is Aleister Black goes to see what is in his battle box this month.
Billy Ray Valentine in the chat.
I like it though. We should look at these as a sponsor. It's a monthly subscription to handpicked outdoor survival, EDC, and other cool gear. That's a perfect partnership of what you do, man.
That, man, for sure. Billy Ray Valentine in the chat, host of Infinite Fringe and America Unplugged, says he is a Satanist. He says it has Hail Satan tattooed on his hands. So I don't know how he doesn't get it. Atlanta Thrasher says, Mr. Humming, I think I heard you say you were an atheist. If I heard right, what is your take on Satanism? Do you just think it's bad people doing bad things? Do you think they have supernatural influence? Do you think it's fake? Yes, it's all bullshit on both sides, whether you're on the Christian side pretending that the roof fund money is going to something and they're not diddling your fucking kids because they're all closet homosexuals, and the power part of it that started back in the AD 600 times when they wanted all of the power. And then they invented the you're going to burn in hell as a power play, and that they chose demons as the justification for bad behavior across the world. And then the dark misunderstood of the world took into that because they all wanted their own little tribe too. That just started paganism, which is really an offshoot of Saturnalia, our original sun worship of the old gods. And people are small minded little creatures who think they are very important in the reinvention of gods or demigods, which could be aliens, ancient alien theory. And because we're always looking for our origin, ergo, we need a father figure to judge us and pat us on the head or tell us we are wrong and you're going to go to your room and not play with your toys. That is the definition of heaven or hell, and why it is all a lie that has kept these people in power for millennia. and it's all been exposed. Like, to really buy into either side of it at this point makes you a mark.
I can achieve all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah. How'd that work out for him?
It works out pretty good for me. I survived this long.
Nah, dude. I mean, the
Listen,
fact.
wait, this is the thing though. You and I, Papadon and I, and you and Sal on opposite sides with the Horsemen have these debates or go back and forth. And in the end, we still love and respect each other because you have your opinion, you have your perspective. We do. The world could really learn a lesson from that. Do I look ultra offended because what you believe to be and what you believe not to be? No, because I have the faith I have. You have your faith or outlook or lack of faith. You have your whatever you think is important to you. And I respect that. And I respect people that believe it or don't believe it. Because it's not up to me. It's up to me by example. This is the problem with the entire world is I believe this. This is my way that it's working out. It's dying. It's everything. So now I got to force it on you because it's right for me. So that means I have to force you to, so I can be more right. So I can feel like I made the right decision, that I'm on the winning team. Now I lead by example. I think with what I do to try to help people, try to serve others, try to provide information, and also just be there for the people that may need me. To me, that's a Christian value. I know that's a value around the world. You have the same values Sal does. People with or without Christian values or Christian upbringing have that. I understand that. But that's, to me, that's the connection. Does that make sense? That's my mission statement of my brand. I know we don't have mission statements in major wrestling companies, but that's my mission statement. But your mission statement with Hobby Media Group might not be based from a Christian foundation, but it's essentially based in helping people and trying to do good by others.
And you'll get there. You'll finally understand that all of that was always in you the whole time, and it wasn't because of an X amount.
That's what you're trying to convince
me.
Like
there is no reason of like the Christ is in me and what that release of dopamine from singing secular music 1-4-5 chords, like that has been looped over and over. They know it for years and years and years. All of that, all of the good that is in you always has been there and always will be. And there's no reason to give 10% to somebody who's not paying taxes, who dresses up in robes to put on a worked show.
No, religion and church is so political. I was watching an interesting thing. It was completely fake. They were interviewing an alien that wasn't an alien, that was actually from the future as humans evolved, which was a fascinating theory. It was like one of those black and white. They tried to make it like it was an interview, like that one thing with the alien choking. It looked very much like that. But the funny thing is, the two things that will that are destroying this world, destroying the society, and this was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks: political and religious dogma. If you want to know why the world's in the shape it's in, political and religious dogma. That's it. That is it. The money and all that stuff comes with both of those. The power comes with both of those. The pedophilia, the pure evil in this world, the agendas, all come from those two dogmas. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say you can eliminate.
But I want the fascinating. For anybody that listens to Horseman, or if you haven't, I don't know the episode because we dip in and out of it, but it was fascinating. We went on for probably 30 or 45 minutes just about like what happens after you die, what you believe, what you don't believe. And we went back and forth. You know, you and Sal gave your thing, me and Papa and I did, and we asked questions because it's like, I gotta believe, and we can go in another hour, but I'm just saying, I am under the thing of, it can't just be go out like a candle and it's just black after that. There has to be some kind of, even if it is going to a different dimension for a higher consciousness, for some type of thing that can be interpreted as heaven, you know, and it selfishly has to be like, I want to be with my wife after. I'd love for that to happen, to reunite with my wife, to see, you know, The Rainbow Bridge is something. You've lost your dogs. I've lost animals too. And you want to be like, man, I'm going to reunite with the people I love someday. With you, with Papa on, with Sal, and the people I'm close.
So soft. That is the soft id of man, of not being able to fucking like, oh, I just die and I go on in death, and that was my life, and I lived life, and that was just it. I have to keep going. Something has to be that. No, now is the time. I killed 4 flies in the kitchen yesterday. What happened to them?
Well, you're going to see it. They went to the fly rainbow bridge.
I can't wait to get to heaven and hang out with my grandma and T-Rexes. That's going to be
and
so
4 flies.
Dude, like, come on, man. That's such a crock of shit. If you want me, if you guys want where I'm at, go just YouTube, hitch slap, HITCH slap.
And I do watch his videos. I do, because I want to listen and watch. I'm not one of these people that say I'm a Christian. I believe, fuck you, this and that and the other thing. When you talk about it, don't I get back to you? And I saw this Hitchens video.
Yeah,
I watched it.
I'm not trying to throw it down. I'm saying here, like,
no,
people.
I'm not saying. I just want people to understand.
Yeah.
I still have that faith, and I still believe what I believe, and it's still within me. But I don't ignore what's going on around, and I don't look or talk or ask questions or try to see what the other side, which isn't the other side, just someone else close to me is thinking or feeling or believes in or doesn't believe it. That's it.
I'm with you, man. It's all just comfort, and I don't need the comfort. My comfort is getting up every day, being able to communicate, connect, and hopefully make sure my voice lasts. Maybe something I say today will be heard 200 years from now, because that's the only way you're going to really have true longevity, true eternal life is to have that, man, to be able to have this shit cataloged, and then maybe turn your consciousness into digital, and you can have immortality, and it won't matter after that. So that's where we're really going. I'm done with that. Church and religion are separate things. No, they're not, because if they were, you would end churches and you would tax them, but you don't, because they are directly connected, and that is nothing more than a cop-out in 2020, based to not have to say guilty by association, turn a blind eye to pedophilia, don't want to be associated with them. Well, you are, and there is no way to get away from that aside from either going through and eliminating the entire Vatican, or you leaving the faith and just knowing you're good enough is what it is, and do as much as you can in the 78 trips you get around the sun. Because
if you're on a bunch of gas, then maybe 65.
Yeah, maybe 70. Back to it. Ridge Holiday set to make his debut next week. I'm not sure who Ridge Holiday, the Yorkshireman, the rugby player. So our UK fans out there, old Athers and them, I'm sure will have their eyes on there. But at WWE, or Ridge WWE, is coming for that North American Championship. So we'll see how see how well he does. We talked about Matt Cardona, where his traps started his ears, and he made an AEW debut to save his good brother Cody. And Cody fought Warhorse, and Warhorse did a good job. But I was expecting a guy like, I had never seen him. And I know he beat out a bunch of people for the retro game, extended pack or whatever. Good on him. He's made his name in the indies, but I was expecting a guy who was like a horse, and he made Cody look big. And I've stood next to Cody a lot of times, and Cody's not that big. And they told the Figure 4 story, but I was like, oh, the Warhorse looks like a Shetland pony, kind of.
Michael Herman was like, not recently, but he was like, that would be good exposure if you got on there with AEW and did something with Cody. I said, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think. I don't. It would be. I would do it for Retromania. A big representative of the brand. That would be awesome, but that would not happen. I would do business. I don't care, but
yeah.
I mean, he won the last 5 minutes with me, but that's beside the point. That's my new thing now.
Yeah. But Cody needed saving, and in came Major Brother. WWE is let's see, I did it again. Reportedly consider having WWE SummerSlam on a boat. The report states that WWE is considered doing an event outdoors with the show being moved to a beach on a boat or being two options. WWE is also considering the event being broadcast from multiple locations at the same time. So I'm not sure if that'll work, but they're ripping Cruise of Jericho stuff or what have you. Maybe. But how are you going to have fans on there? You're just going to do it on a boat like you did it on the roof, at Money in the Bank to do something. I also heard rumor that they're pushing hard to get Albany. They thought they could push to get the Pepsi Arena in Albany for a live show because Vince wants to get out of Florida. He's had enough. But then governor shut him down. But then right on the heels of that, the governor says yes to the MTV Movie Awards, the biggest Illuminati ceremony there is, and says no to a 9/11 memorial parade and ceremony as well. So
did you shut that down by mistake instead of the 2CW show?
I've got a lot going on here. I'm going to have to actually check in and see with my Israeli art team if they've got
their 462 assistants.
Yeah. So
got him.
Yeah, big time. So it's what?
Why don't you just go right by Oprah's house and fucking International Waters while you're at it?
Why not?
Pick up a few kids and her Corona dog.
It's really a whole big front to get Ghislaine Maxwell escaped. She's got the boat is to get her out there. There's going to be a link up boat that takes her down to Bogota. Be great.
Whew, man. I mean, they're doing whatever they can. I'll give them that. I mean, I wish they would do these things on a week in and week out basis with Raw, not just the pay-per-views, because if you do it on a boat or if you're doing it outside, I still don't know why you couldn't have WrestleMania in the Tampa State, in Raymond James Stadium, and then do what AEW did in the stadium for that pay-per-view. It would have at least had better atmosphere. You could have done a ton of shit everywhere. Dude, did you see the fucking ridiculous CGI fans on the Fox baseball stuff?
I did see that, yeah.
Wow, man. You want to talk about it's bad, but it's also scary because this is some deep fake shit.
Yeah.
Now you can create they could probably play baseball in a fucking parking lot and they can just CGI the stadium.
Just AE Sports guys go in and do the fucking bing, and then Tony Khan gives them the analytics, how many times it should. They put it into an AI thing and kicks out every fucking inning, what might possibly happen, outcome, throw it through a random generator, and then it makes the fucking video game and you watch it in real time at that exact same fucking way. So you can bet on it still because it's all random number generators based on other things. That shit is coming. It absolutely is.
Yeah. I mean, that's dystopian as anything. That's the first thing I saw with that, man. You want to talk about, there's probably no better time that I could have thought to unintentionally retire from the business, because my last match was November against PJ Hawks, one of the biggest shows of Wildcat. I was very satisfied with the way the story played out and how, the ending of that, the payoff.
I might need you in December. Be ready.
Okay, well, you're going to change your mind about the AEW or the 2CW show.
Well, if we're gonna shut something down, we're gonna need.
Well, here's the thing.
Somebody down.
Like as far as what I'm looking at now, I've said it so many times. There's no more painful thing than wrestling in a wrestling school with no noise, dead as fuck. And when you have to know that you're wrestling in front of a TV camera going full speed, not killing each other, but things are snug, and you do that kind of thing, it's just, even with the fake NXT talent fans and all this other shit, it's not the same thing. It's really bad. It's birthday party shit. That's like coming down to the ring for a Saturday afternoon birthday party. So I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, we're in the death throes of it. Doesn't mean we can't capitalize it. There's always money in sinking properties as well. As we get close to taking it home here, Eric Young says he told Vince McMahon that he failed as a leader. He said McMahon always treated me with respect. He says He did say to McMahon that Young later called McMahon a failure as a leader. He said that if McMahon could not find a way, something for him in a 3-hour show, that he failed not only the company, but failed also everyone else involved. The last thing I'll say about this, Young prefaced, if you have a 3-hour pro wrestling television show and you can't find something for me to do, then you're failing as a leader, plain and simple. You failed the company. You failed the shareholders. You failed the fans, and you failed yourself. The reason I wasn't on the show was his choice, no one else's. I think if you ask most of the people who work there, they would be in my corner. He wasn't in my corner, so I wasn't on the show. I would tell him to his face, you failed as a leader. You can't find something for Eric Young to do. It's really a weird place. You can't fully understand it until you're there. And yeah, I that's why Stevie and Russo pop or like those, they look out of the corner of their eye because they have my best interest, because they know exactly what he's saying there I would have to go through as well. And I had to resign myself to not be applying for any of these jobs. It's just going to be me walking in and fucking chaining myself to the wall.
Yeah, you went bing, 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 bing there for a second.
I banged. Yeah, they said my internet's kind of the shits today.
It went slow and then it caught right back up. Yeah, could be the multiple streams at once.
Somebody in Rochester was like, what the fuck is up with Spectrum? And we talked about this off air. GGP said last night, how about these stories that are dropped? 5G. Has anybody heard anything about 5G? Like since COVID started and all that shit where they implemented, but Spectrum's having weird spotty shit last night I saw. So maybe that's something going on right now.
Very weird stuff. Very, very weird. Oh, geez, I got in the CTE moment again.
It was the Eric Young telling Vince he sucks. Cops.
I know exactly how Eric Young feels, and you got to have that kind of confidence to say, if you don't have anything for me. I would love for him to tell Vince, and I don't doubt that somebody, if somebody had the balls to tell Vince that he said that, maybe to gain favor. But then again, people are afraid to tell Vince the truth no matter what. So I don't know if anybody really would tell, hey, Eric Young said you failed as a leader. Fuck him. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's just very odd that the emperor has no clothes. We're watching it unfold. We're watching this unfold as a reality show. This emperor has no clothes, not just no pants, no clothes. And it's really just disturbing to see that Vince doesn't see it. This guy used to be somebody that would want Russo. Remember, that's how Russo became famous with him. That's how Russo got the job, because Russo did not pay him lip service. Of course, he was completely going out of business, but this is a segue into the next story. Nobody in the TV industry has any faith that they're going to have any value in 2022 when the deals both come up.
And that's the perfect segue, actually. Where the fuck is my phone? Because
this isn't, by the way, this is like legitimate business marketing analyst, pundits saying the shit, right? This is like good people that go to fucking NAB and things like that. This isn't fucking Meltzer or Keller or fucking Bruce Mitchell. These are things they should be paying attention to, people they should listen to, and I bet it's another fuck them.
Yeah. And this is our last story, maybe our last story. I wanted to see one other thing. We may save that conversation. But WWE sinking in popularity, called out by top media outlet and media research firm. The decline in WWE's popularity was subject to a story by top media outlet Variety, as well as Lightshed Partners, which in top technology, media, and telecom research firm. Variety noted that the company's consistent decline in popularity and Vince McMahon's continually coming up with excuses like top stars being absent, the surge of new talent, and the need to have better storylines. Lightshed took a look at WWE stock this week and noted that they could not recommend a buy right now because of too many critical questions surrounding the company. Mainly WWE's creative direction and whether there will be a significant rebound in their TV ratings, even in a post-coronavirus world. Sorry, I lost my spot. Instead of focusing on the long-term health of instead of focusing on the long-term health of the company and building a product that audiences want to watch, both McMahon and investors have put all their eggs in the TV revenue basket. Gavin Bridge wrote on Variety. Bridge noted that the investors need to hold McMahon accountable on Thursday's Q2 media call and ask how much longer is needed to create compelling stories and new stars that catch the public's imagination. Lightshed also discussed WWE's inability to create new superstars. It was noted how much of the talent that can draw are aging, and bringing back older stars like The Undertaker is just a Band-Aid and not a long-term strategy. Quote, one of the largest problems we have identified is the inability to create new superstars. Lightshed wrote, every era of WWE wrestling has been defined by some key stars at the top. Recent years have been bereft of that star power, with Roman Reigns the closest, but never on that same level. More broadly, they really have very little younger talent that have broken through at all on their way to replenish the mid-level of stars in the men's division. This has also made the company more susceptible to injuries, absentees of major stars. Much of the talent who is drawing power is aging. And the big draws for the major events have been in bringing back even older wrestlers such as Goldberg and The Undertaker. That is a Band-Aid, not a long-term strategy. WWE signed new domestic deals in 2018 for Raw and SmackDown for $2.35 billion. Despite McMahon feeling the move to SmackDown to Fox would be a game changer, the audience for SmackDown last quarter is only up 100,000 viewers per week from the prior year quarter, when they were on the USA Network in approximately 30 million fewer homes. Raw ratings have been down considerably since their deal with NBC Universal was completed in 2018. Goddamn, these ads keep popping shit all over. You guys, this keeps going on and whatnot to bury them.
Basically, what it's saying is what we've been saying all along.
What?
And you put Bruce, who's as big of a bullshitter as Vince, in there. You can imagine Bruce, this guy and other people, they're pretty much saying you're a bunch of carnies that keep coming up with bullshit excuses for your bad TV.
How dare
Stop
you?
doing. No, sorry.
How dare you, dude? It's outside of this is Variety magazine, and here's the only other thing I can think of. This is pretty scathing and whatnot, but let's look at the bigger work of it all. They know wrestling's dead and they don't give a fuck, obviously, because they're not doing nothing to change it. What did they do 8 days before Q2? Cashed in another 2.5 million, 3 million in stock of the upper brass. Then this comes out in Variety, the industry standard magazine, straight from a perspective of investment and whatnot. What if they have paid off Variety to put out this story to drive down their stock price so they can buy back more at a lower price? And then they're going to move and consolidate something else. So everything they take out of it, drive it down, buy it back under some shell fucking thing. And it was all a plot the whole time.
How much money's enough, by the way? Like, they're going to get caught. This has to be the 6th time they've done it, right? They've been doing this for years and years and years. So how much money Vince made about 150 million off the cuts to save 4 million. And that still wasn't enough. Then Vince, he's made back the XFL loss. And by the way, it's coming here and there to be up for sale. So he got the write-off too, but he'll make the money back. I just don't know how much is enough for him. People cashing in stocks, and they can't even be good workers and do it like 2 weeks ago. They have to do it 8 days before the call. It's just amazing right before the quarterly report. It has to be on some level. On some level, it's unethical, of course, but it has to be downright borderline illegal. And it's just, there's so many things going on. Nobody has a big enough hard on for them right now to look into it. Just like the independent contractor thing. Nobody has a big enough hard on to look at what they're doing. I guarantee if you had a senator's kid or a congressman's kid who fucking broke his neck in the ring, they would look at it. They would look at it. So it's unbelievable. It's very believable though. And I think they're just like I think the way they're looking at it right now, because look at the way they write their TV. Do you think Vince or anybody cares about 2022? They're just pillaging right now until, okay, the price is going to go down 2022. That's when we'll sell to Disney, because we'll have all our money for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years that we keep milking out of this thing.
Milking it out, reinvesting it in another way to buy low, and then what do they do?
Stephanie and Hunter will be guaranteed 10-year jobs there after the sell. When they sell it, they won't go away.
Unless they have like no compete, where they're no show jobs where they actually are on the payroll and they don't have the power.
Yeah, but then they don't have to show up for work anyway. They're getting paid off. They're getting a check every week.
Right. That's the only way I could see really getting rid of them, is that, don't worry, we're just going to pay you. You don't have to show up.
Yeah.
Oh man. I didn't know if you wanted to talk the Joey Mercury thing or not, but that's our headline. Absolutely. I don't know. It's just weird, man. Like a lot of people that I came up with got a lot of knowledge and respect for Joey, and he helped make the Shield, and you hear about Moxley or, any of those guys, Rollins, they always put him over. Obviously, Eminem, Morrison, and him were awesome as well. He's had addiction issues and whatnot. And then all the shit blew up with ROH and Kelly Klein. I don't know. He said, she said, who's sleeping with who, and it's all a clusterfuck. But since then, whatever he had with 100,000 plus and verified Twitter, he killed it. And then he came back, and now he has like under 600 followers on this Twitter account. And he's putting things out daily that, ROH obviously needs to have their they say we're investigating, right? Whether it was the Marty Skrull thing, that Marty smart enough to put the statement out, not in a video, and then stay small. Jay Lethal, that's what Mercury is just going after him, and there was plenty there with, in story-wise, Taylor Hendricks. There's been plenty of rumors that way, and I'm surprised that hasn't come out into the big limelight. I mean, it's not like it hasn't been known. He keeps dropping Truth Martini's name. But Joey, to me, as the youngest ECW guy ever, pretty much, and a workhorse in this business. However, I will say it, Joey's a very cold and fucking cutthroat dude, man. And thankfully, I haven't had to experience anything like that. I've taken a lot of knowledge, and he knows that, and he usually keeps me at closer reach when we're together, because he knows I'll shut the fuck up. And he's the one you hear me say, never miss a chance to shut the fuck up. That came right out of his mouth. However, on Twitter, this is a different Joey Mercury, and he is screenshotting. He's like showing timelines of how ROH management is creating burner accounts to like try and troll back and refute. And, I don't know if what state Joey's in right now in things, but it's very interesting. And then he puts this tweet out last night, I think it was, right, Stevie? I sent it to you.
Yeah, yesterday.
Let me see here real quick. I am and always be the youngest OG ECW, the youngest coach, producer, agent. I'm the coach of champions and Hall of Famers, Joey Mercury. I'm the most prolific coach for my age, maybe ever. I can't disagree with that. I seem to know about wrestling. No company wants my help. Your opinions, please and thanks. I don't know, man. Like, I understand that he's on the mission to wipe out his enemies who try to fuck him over and fuck over somebody he cares about, but this Twitter account and seeing what he's doing every day of just like pulling pins on grenades and launching them. Is that what needs to be done? I don't think he's in kind of the right state of mind. It's not the behavior I've seen from him before, but it is an interesting look. And then after you drop all those bombs, you come to the internet hat in hand going, why am I not signed? I don't know, man. Like, what are you thinking on this stuff, dude?
That initial thing with trying to expose all the things that are wrong with it, starting with was it the vice president that was very, very bad at talent relations? That was the whole Kelly Klein concussion thing. That whole deal there, I can see it. Here's where the disconnect comes in. Now, Joey's going after people. He disappeared and he came back. So it's not like a consistent kind of, this is my message. This is my mission statement. Once again, what's your mission statement, Joey? What are you trying to what's your end game? What are you trying to do for the business to make it better? When he puts out this tweet, it's like, oh, you're just trying to get a job. That's what people would say. We see what it is, but all the previous stuff too makes a company look at that and say, well, holy shit, how long until he would just turn on my company and start throwing stuff out on Twitter?
I mean,
am I off base with that?
Who's he talking to? WWE's done with him, him relapsing and then paying for rehab.
Well, he's not talking to anybody. He's tweeting that out there to throw it out into the universe.
Yeah, but who's going to catch? Okay, so who's going to catch that? WWE's not going to hire him back. ROH isn't. So it's obviously to Cody. Him and Cody were tight enough, Spears and all them, and just make the call. But that to me is like, dude, it's just not the behavior that I have seen from a guy who I not had figured out by any means, but just like it's very, I don't know, strange is all.
Well, do you think certain elements have been reintroduced into his life to create this instability?
I hope not. But seeing erratic behavior like that makes me wonder if addiction has taken over. Adam 33 is asking NWA, maybe, but I tried to put my feelers in there and had some actual feedback, and then the trail went completely cold. So is there NWA? Look what Raven's tight with Billy Corgan. You can look at the Hannibal Stooge and he pretty much says it's done. So, like I said, with COVID and with whatever else, people cutting their own throats, and in the dying days of wrestling, what are real hardcore wrestlers who depend on wrestling and not like what Stevie and I do in building our own businesses? It's going to be strange days, man. Strange days ahead as people break down and cut 54-minute promos trying to appeal to people's senses for more spotlight, or, stand on Twitch and their underpants and thank people for bits, or do gas and say they quit wrestling. I just don't. It's a complete mental breakdown, right?
Do you think the business is dead?
Yes. We said that Josh,
Bobby Heenan said that years ago. It was dead. It was dead then.
Josh was saying about 2CW in 2014. That's why we closed. Let's go out on top. Okay. And now we've had 5 years of the fanboys running the business in cosplay, and MJF lays all this out in his promo last night too. And then we've said it 100 times, these exact words. I think they're taking it right from us. But it's the blatant truth. And these are the dying days. And what will rise from the ashes of the Phoenix, and will the Golden Dawn kill it? But my voice is torched already, you guys, and I got to come back and do Light the Fuse with MSG and Silvio, hopefully here in about 15 minutes. Stevie, thanks for hanging in for a big
Sorry, man, it was way too long. I went on too many tangents.
Not at all. This is what the locker room is, dude. It's not just about running down news. It's about hearing veterans talk and the way we fucking always would and always do, not just appease everybody to say, ooh, this, that, and the other. We're going to say the truth that we've been saying for 2-3 years. And now if it's Variety Magazine or Eric Young being the one to stooge it off to make it mainstream, I guess, so be it. But you can go back and check out our track record. We don't change our story, man. We fucking make moves to try and save this shit. And when the roadblocks come up, okay, we'll pivot and turn. I'm not going to fight you at every corner to save you from drowning. You're going to drown on your own. It's just going to take you a little longer to realize you're drowning. So,
well, two people who are diametrically opposed to each other, and one more so than the other to his rival. Russo and Cornette have been saying this for many, many years.
Yep.
As different sides as they may seem, they both say the same exact things, and they both have predicted what the mess it is right now.
Yeah, it's all coming to an end right here, right? And we're ready to go, though. We've got great new content ready to get cranked out, Stevie. I think we got so many good ideas. It's going to be tough to get them all down here in the next month, but that's a good problem to have, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a good experiment too with the stream, and hopefully we can just reach more people at once, as long as Spectrum doesn't screw it. It's got to be your area. Mine, I have Spectrum too, and it has its problems.
It never dropped here between you and I never lagged out and never stopped and chopped. So it's from obviously the internet to the stream. But we had about 51, 52 strong, which is probably record numbers combined here. So appreciate you if you're watching on YouTube. You guys see Johnny Bats and a couple other people watching on that stream through my Bin Hameen YouTube. If you're not subscribed, a lot of our shows are over there. If you're just a hackerhameen.podbean or hameenmediagroup.podbean subscriber or iTunes in it, and you want to see the baby blue eyes, the 5 o'clock shadow, the lean muscle mass, the and me sitting in the dark with a big ugly beard, you can always check out the videos as we upload them there, you guys. Stevie Richards Fitness today. What are we doing? Tech reviews? What's on the agenda? Gun reviews?
Yeah, we still got to get our Mantis X10 Elite review. We've been doing some dry firing. It's pretty fun. I was talking to you off camera about how it has a lot of benefits for that kind of stuff, a lot of good coaching. And of course, ammo is super expensive. So if you can learn a lot with dry firing, and it does have the ability to train you while you live fire, it's pretty good. You can use it on a gun. You go use it on a rifle. I got my shotgun. We just have to figure out a place to shoot the shotgun. And also, I got the Akibo. Damn, I got to practice that.
Akibono.
Akibono is here. Akibono 2.0. The Akibo 2.0, which is a virtual archery thing, but also bow hunting. By the way, they just added archery golf, which I'm going to add to the review. Figured you'd find that interesting. Yeah, pretty cool.
I haven't golfed in 3 weeks, man. I've been that busy, dude. I have not.
You get a girlfriend too?
Yeah.
Hey, interesting stuff. I know I tend to put up varying things up on the YouTube channel, but it's just a passion project that I want, like the flight sim thing. I have not done flight sim in probably almost 20 years. So I'm going to get the yoke. I'm going to get X-Plane. I'm probably going to test out actually the unique use case, which yesterday got kind of scary. I was trying game streaming with Switcher Studio through the iPad with a console, because then I could put up all my stuff like you did, comments, things like that. But it will work with because plugging in the Elgato and everything kind of overloaded. There was so much power needed, but this can capture the iMac screen where X-Plane will already be on the display and then just show my gameplay. So I just like that, dude. It enables me to still be sharp with wrestling to him in a creative sense, because thinking outside the box, what has nobody done yet? And that's essentially, I think, what's missing from wrestling. So these are the kind of things, the 80s love song thing, and trying to use Switcher Studio or the Rodecaster or other things, are just me looking like I did when I wrestled and saying, what's everybody else not doing? As stupid as this might be, as silly or comedy or making myself look like a fool, nobody else is doing it, so I'll stand out. And that's kind of what I do with the YouTube channel. Nobody else turned their entire apartment into a home gym. Let me be that guy, and it's actually converted into sales.
Sure.
So it's pretty cool. It might seem like it's all over the place, but you're getting inside my mind to see how I kind of think of things. I think that's kind of cool.
We're going to give them a huge look at that all through Patreon as we start developing that content. So if you've had a business plan and you're looking to put it in motion, there's going to be no better time probably than the next month. If you want advisement, if you want to hear how we think, more entertainment, we're going to be putting all that kind of stuff out, man.
They like my Cam Link 4K too. With the
it looks great. It kind of tripped me out because I saw in the one video the reverse angle, because I always see you this way with the Hallmark Channel set behind you, like to see that's just a wall in front of you, because I look at the screen and I look past, like I have another 20 feet to go in the silo before it does. So like that you're looking at a wall base, it just tripped me out. I think of you looking past like that. There's more this way in the Z axis than you're right against the wall there. But it does look great, no doubt about it.
Thank you.
And you can go follow him on Instagram and on YouTube for free content. Obviously, we have a great time at russosbrand.com doing the Raw and SmackDown review with Vince, and then on his Patreon doing Master Shoot as well. Thanks to all the Russo Brand YouTube subscribers. We've been seeing those numbers go up steadily. Been trying to kick out content for you usually every day, every other day. Some hot clips, some fun takes, and that. And so if you can like those and share those, that just helps us all, man. It's increasing the fold like we're trying to do here, streaming on YouTube to take advantage of my 11,000 subs. Stevie's over 60 grand now, just growing. Not at an infinite, unmanageable speed. We'd rather have steady growth, and we appreciate all the new listeners, subscribers, or anybody who's sharing our stuff, clipping things out, and having a good time here at Hameen Media Group. If you haven't joined the Hameen Media discussion group, what the hell are you waiting for? Get over there. We do pick'em challenges for all the WWE pay-per-views.
You sounded like they were counting you down, like 3, 2.
Oh, really? Did it? That's the internet speeding up. Yeah. So what are you waiting for? Well, Spectrum's fucking with the flow, you guys. We'll get out of here, and I'll be back for Light the Fuse. Hopefully the next StreamYard goes a little bit smoother than this one, but check back in 10-15 minutes if you don't see the signal flare go up and you want to hear all about AEW. I got plenty to say about last night's show. Definitely didn't hold a candle to Impact, in my opinion. So, y'all, Stevie, thank you so much for giving time, man, and we'll be back creating more great stuff for you soon.
Thank you.
And broadcast. Y'all.